Apex Online Racing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely stream deck. For more information about the stream deck, the link is in the description below. Hello everybody, good evening. Welcome along to AOR Hype Energy F1 Leagues. This is season 20 of Xbox One F1 and we are at round number 16. We went to one of the shortest circuits on the calendar last week in Italy in terms of time. And now we go to the longest on the calendar is Marina Bay Circuit for the Singapore Grand Prix. First arrived on the scene in 2008 with the famous skyline as a spectacular backdrop. The initial circuit plan was actually by Herman Tighe, but it was refined by a certain other company, while the event has quickly established itself as one of the standouts on the F1 calendar. My name is Jess, and I'll be your commentator for tonight's race as per usual. And tonight is definitely going to be a test of endurance. It's had the honour of hosting the first nighttime race in Formula 1 history, and it's the second night race on the calendar here tonight. And we do know what happened in 2008, where we saw a little bit of controversy, where we saw Fernando Alonso claim the victory whilst his teammate crashed to cause a safety car, which helped him get the victory as well. So we're going to have a look at the track before we head to the race. So the track is 5.063 kilometers long with 23 turns, 14 to the left and 9 to the right. It has 2 DRS zones, one at the start finish straight and one between turn 5 and 7. It's one of the most physically demanding on the calendar, and its bumpy street surface, along with the humid conditions, is giving the drivers a lot to think about in this race. They're going to be working the wheel a lot, and they're going to have a lot of physical things that they need to do as well. It's just going to be very, very demanding. So, without further ado, we're going to be going straight to qualifying. The 3 compounded tyres that we have in today's race is the C5, the C4s, the C3s, the highest amount of tyres on the Pirelli range, as it were. So let's get straight on to qualifying and find someone who's actually about to start a lap. It is impossible to tell actually, so let's go straight to it. So there we go. So no rain is in threat at this moment in time, which I think our drivers are relieved about. As we saw in PS4 this earlier on today, we saw a wet to dry qualifying, and it definitely throw a spanner in the works, I have to say, and it didn't provide us with the dry start to the race either. So again, 2 things which the drivers did not want to happen did happen. But as Cesala has had a little bit of a spin in the wall, he just caught a little bit into the middle of sector 2. So that's not really going to help him whatsoever here at this moment in time. But let's go on board with Lefted as he goes past turn 6 and 7. One of the DRS straights of the circuit. And that was an invalidation. I was about to go on board with him being invalidated. So let's start with Jam Pancakes. Conveniently, he actually starts on a lap then. So here we go then as we head towards past turn 4. You need to get the power hard on corner exit. It's just a slight kink heading towards turn 4. Turn 5 is a tricky right-hander, which lures you into thinking you can brake later than he actually can. Get back on the power quickly. First DRS zone heading in towards turn 7. You're heading towards the Memorial corner up there. And you're seeing the skyline really come into view here at this moment. Now just starting sector 2. You're going into another tricky right chicane here to the right hand side. And you're going to just move a little bit slightly to the left apex just a little bit. And I think we can see a lot of people getting caught out through this bridge there. I think it's called the Anderson Bridge. Now, GC needs to move out the way. He just about does it, but that has probably hindered Jam Pancake's lap ever so slightly, which is not going to help him at all. But he is purple sector 2 though, but he's one of the first people to set a lap time. You're now heading towards the bay of turn 18 and heading in towards turn 19. It's one of the tightest points on the track, so don't try to pass there, whatever you do in a race. Otherwise, it's going to have some very troubled moments, I've got to say, and some incidents as well. Now heading towards 22 and 23 now, and that was almost an invalidation, and it's a 135.8 for Jam Pancakes. Hawk is in second with a 136.3, and we got Pietro as well, who is a reserve driver. He recently signed up as a reserve driver, which is great to see as well. And we also got a new driver that's joining full-time as well. Otis, also known as Zach, so a big welcome to him. He's in the Mercedes, who's currently in the pits at the moment. He was once in VSR, but recently this weekend he moved to Team, I think it's Sync Motorsport it's called, or it might just be called Sync. I'm not entirely sure, but a big welcome to the league for him anyway. I was expecting less drivers here tonight due to the fact that Singapore can be definitely very demanding. But it's nice to see the commitment due to the fact that we are at the crucial moments of this championship. Any error these drivers make, it can cost them in the championship. As we saw, Left did make some errors in Italy as well, which is a bit of a shame. But hopefully he can pick up as this race goes on. And we saw a very unlikely victory last week, for those of you that missed it, from SSR Bobbers. And to be honest, he took that despite that he wasn't expecting to win due to the amount of penalties. But due to the fact that the holding up between Hawk and Lefty did not work, they had a bit of a spin. That was what allowed Bobbers to have enough of a gap that he needed to take the victory. And he's doing quite well in the championship because of it. He's probably very relieved that it's happened as well, because Bobbers has had quite a few wins in his championship, and I think he's got the most wins this season. He's got 4 wins. Hall's got 3. Lefty has got 2, as well as Jonah and Humperdinck have got 1. So, and LGS also got a win at the start of the season. So Bobbers is on the lap at the moment, going past one of the F1 2020 bridges there as well. Purple set to 2 there. Looking good now. This wall, a lot of people can get caught out. Sometimes the wall could be very glitchy. So hopefully it does not happen tonight. But Bobbers is going to try increase the gap as much as he possibly can here tonight, because it means everything. It's a 17-point gap that he was managing to get. He was third in the championship last week. Now he's gone into first. And that is the first time in a while, actually, where Humperdinck is not your championship leader. So Bobbers comes across the line. He's slowing down. Not many people want to start on the softs, I believe, in this race. I mean, the softs, I think, last around about a similar similar times as China. Slightly longer, 9 laps. So you want to be getting off the soft compounded tyres relatively quickly. The deltas are quite massive as well between the mediums and the hards. The softs and the mediums is not too bad. It's around about 8 tenths per second as well. So ideally, the mediums are probably going to be the best race tyre out there. It's going to be good temperature. It's not going to overheat, because it is overheat central in terms of tyre temperatures. So Squishy Panda, she's going on a lap at the moment. So whilst I'm riding on board with her on a lap, let's go through your championship standings as we head into round 16. So Bobbers leads with 200 points exactly. 17-point gap over Humperdinck in second. Lefted in third with 177 points. Tom in fourth with 149 points, as Squishy Panda has unfortunately invalidated her lap. So let's ride on board with Cesala instead. And he has invalidated too. Yeah, we could see quite a lot of invalidation tonight. I thought we would see quite a lot more in Italy last week, but sadly not. Anyway, Jonah is in 5th place with 142 points. 6th place is Hawk with 112 points. 7th place is Squishy Panda with 107. 8th place is Alex Daegu with 73 points. 9th place is LGS with 72 points. 10th place is Alfio with 60. 11th place is Amaze with 45. I don't think he's here tonight though. No, he's not here tonight. 12th is Jam Pancakes with 34. 13th place is GC with 13. 14th place is John with 10 points. John can't make it tonight, unfortunately. He's had a few technical problems. Ruben in 15th after a strong debut from him last week with 6 points. He can't make it tonight either. Boris in 16th with 4 points. Jamie in 17th on 1 point. And Diagre, I think, has moved to the PC side. So he's not going to be on Xbox. He's going to be on the PC side. I believe it will still be tier 1. So it's not going to be a jump as it would expected. But I do notice around Singapore especially the difference between the two platforms. So I wonder how Diagro is going to do on the PC side, no matter what happens. To be honest with you. So that's a shout out to everybody that's watching in the chat. Let us know your predictions as to who you think is going to get pole position. As Jam Pancakes seems to be struggling now. I remember at the start of the season we were expecting him to defend his crown, and it didn't go the way he hoped. He also missed quite a few races as well. He lost a bit of motivation in the game, but I think he's got his mojo back by the sound of things, which is great to see. And he's looking to go back to his form at the moment, and he's currently sitting in 3rd. Now, I was speaking to the drivers earlier on, and I could see maybe lap times on the soft between the 134s, 133s potentially as well. So these guys are saying a few banker laps, but they only have one lot of mediums to go around in this qualifying session. So if you want to start your race on the mediums, you've got to get your lap in straight away, because otherwise you're going to be starting on the soft, and it's not going to be ideal. So expect pretty much everybody outside the top 10 to go on to the yellow striped medium tyres. As Jam Pancakes goes into the pit lane, I think everybody is going into the pit lane. I do see a Mercedes driver go out. That might be Otis actually, unless Otis is already out. Yes, it is Otis. I've got my calculations correct, which is great to see, of course, as he comes out. Now, he was in another league before this one, but it ended last week with the final round, so that's why he decided to come here. He's probably setting much lower expectations to himself because he's not in a championship fight, he's got nothing to lose, and he wants to have a little bit of fun in this league as well and see how he can match up against the top guys in this league. And I've seen him in other leagues as well on Xbox, and he's pretty good, especially in the rain. So he's going to hope for a little bit of a rain dance, I have to say, later on. So, you know, we'll have to wait and see. Of course, we have seen it on PS4, and I usually don't ask the Xbox drivers to for the weather because it's a lot trickier otherwise. And I just like a surprise for the weather, and I like to give you a little bit of a surprise as well. And interestingly enough, Otis has gone for the number 45. Now, as you all know, Lewis Hamilton, or Sir Lewis Hamilton, runs with the number 44. So that's probably why Otis, or Zach, I'm going to call him Zach actually, has decided to run with the 45, sorry, in this race. Now you can see quite a lot of people are on the medium tyres fitted already, I believe. So they've got to do their best to see if they can try and get into the 134 on the mediums. It's not impossible, but it's going to be a lot harder. So if they get it nailed on, absolutely nailed on, it'll be absolutely perfect. As Lefton is going to try and show us right now on the medium tyres as he goes through sector 1. Now, the rear end is going to be a lot trickier than most other tracks due to the hot temperatures, because usually it's running about the late summer. Well, it's actually in quite hot climate anyway around Singapore, but it's just hard to manage around here because of the hot climates, and sometimes it could get really hot or it could get really rainy. So I think it's not going to be an in-betweeny, I think, at the moment. And since everyone's on the medium tyres, that strongly suggests that it's going to be a dry start to the race, because otherwise why would a majority of these drivers go for a medium tyre? But who knows, we could see a wet end to the race. You never know. I don't get told these things. Only the drivers know about these weather conditions. As Left is looking very good at the moment. Purple in sector 2. He hasn't set a lap time though, so he needs to get a move on. And he's slowing down, I think. He wasn't happy with his lap time. What about Otis as he goes past the F1 2020? He's purple sector 2 as well. I wonder if he wants to try and set this lap on the soft tyres, or does he want to slow down to see what he can do, and then fit a set of the medium compound tyres. Or would he choose to invalidate on purpose, as quite a few of the drivers have done so far? As we'll have to wait and see, of course, as Oti's almost hit the wall. And as I would have said, he's in the pits as well. So I'm getting my points proven right today in this Xbox One race, I've got to say. Now, I'll have a look at the Constructors' points in a second as well, because it's not just about the Drivers' Championship, it is also about the Constructors. Every point counts in that, and they want to have a little bit of glory. They want to try and do their best to work together, and I'm going to try and get those Constructor standings for you so you have a little bit of an idea as well. Tom is currently sitting on provisional pole position with a 1:35.324, looking pretty good as well to claim that as well. Got quite a few pole positions already this season, looking to add to that in this race. And to be honest, if this is the track where you really want to be starting pole position, it is definitely this track. If you do not start pole position, you could be on bad form, as Pancakes has gone pole position on the tail of the medium tyres. I thought nobody was going to get into the 133s on the mediums, but Jam Pancakes is proving otherwise, and if he keeps this up, he could be on pole for a considerable amount of time. I don't think he wants to go onto the soft compound tyres at all. I think he'll be happy on the medium tyres at this stage. So we've got a quick look through the championship standings for the Constructors. So McLaren are leading with 272 points, a 44-point gap over Mercedes in second on 228 points. Third place is Alfa Romeo with 202. Fourth place is Red Bull with 187 points. Fifth place is AlphaTauri with 152 points. Sixth place is Racing Point with 149 points. Seventh place is Williams with 107. Eighth place is Ferrari with 97. Ninth place is Haas with 86. And in last place in the championship is Renault with 30 points. So Renault definitely need to step it up if they want to get some points. I don't think any Renaults are here tonight, apart from maybe Boris. No, yeah, maybe Boris potentially as well. Because LGS, he comes across the line and takes P3. So times are starting to improve. It is heading towards the calm before the storm. So watch out for these drivers. You know, the determination of these drivers, they really want to make sure that they can get the position that they possibly can here. And these cars look very, very good in the nightlife around Singapore as well. And it is a street circuit. And to be honest, depending how the pandemic is going, we may not see it on the calendar this year either in real life. So we'll have to wait and see, of course. But it's a shame if we don't get it on the game, because Singapore is... There's hardly any spots to overtake, really. You got the 2 DRS zones, but that's pretty much it. But there's a lot of people that can take risks and take some moves somewhere else, just like this corner here, as LGS is demonstrating at this moment in time as well. And he's running out of fuel as well, as Hawk goes fastest with a 1:38.9. Nobody's on the soft tyres apart from Boris Letterbox, who has retired, but he will be starting on fresh tyres anyway. He'll be starting on the alternate strategy, most likely on the mediums. I don't think anybody else is going to improve, so it's going to be quite an interesting start of the session. Left in can't improve. Hawk is not improving either. Jam Pancakes can't improve. Pumpkin is not improving. Neither is Jonah. I think it's just LGS. I'm just trying to see Alfio. Maybe not. Nobody's on lower ERS. Only 6 seconds down. Tom has invalidated his lap time. Jamie in the top 10. I've got to say, impressive performance for him in qualifying. He probably wasn't expecting that either as well, considering that is his second race in at the top tier. But to be honest, you'll take any position that he gets. I'm just going to see if anyone's about to cross the line. We do have a few people, but it's not the people that are on a quick lap. So we're going to keep an eye on the people that are on a quicker lap at this moment. So here comes, I think we got Tom just in front as well, who's finally pushing on. I wonder if he's realised if he's invalidated his lap time, because sometimes you get where it does not pop to you that you've invalidated. It's done to me that quite a few times. So here comes Jamie then, heading towards turn 21 and heading towards 22 and 23. Can he get higher than P11? It's looking good so far. It's a P10 on the cusp pretty good, but Alfio improves to P10. So Jamie will be starting on the alternate, well, will be start getting free tyre choice. So, to be honest, starting P11 is probably better than starting P10. So, you know, that is probably the best position to be for him. So, in pole position for the Singapore Grand Prix is Hawk as he retires in the pit lane. So, a massive well done to him. I can't remember how many poles he has got this season if I just look at the statistics very quickly. This is Hawk's third pole position. He's got 2 poles already, and he's tied with Tom on pole positions. The only driver to get the most pole positions is Lefted, who got 5 pole positions so far in this championship. No one else has beaten that as well. So we are starting to see a few drivers that could possibly get towards that stage towards the end, but we will have to wait and see, of course, as we're just waiting for a few drivers to retire in the pit lane, and then we could get going. And I wonder what the race is going to have in store for us. So we will take you through your qualifying standings then, as all the drivers have come across the line or have retired from the pit lane. So let's see what happens. So, Hawk is on pole with a 1:33.9. Only 6 100s clear of Jam Pancake. So it was very, very close indeed between the top 2. Lefted in third with a 1:34.1. Pietro, reserve driver, doing very well. Great comeback in fourth. Humperdinck in fifth. Jonah in sixth. Squishy Panda seventh. OTs with a good debut so far in qualifying in 8th. LGS 9th and Alfio 10th. Then we got Jamie, GC, Tom, Daegu, Bobbets, Boys Box and Zala outside the top 10 to get free choice of tyres. Boys Box did not say a representative lap time, and Zala retired in the wall somewhere around Singapore. So, that is it then for qualifying. We're now going to move on to the race then, which should be interesting. And looking outside my commentary box window, you probably can't see it, of course, but no threat of rain on the horizon yet, and it is going to be impossible to tell due to the fact that there will be no clouds in the sky. It's completely clear around it, obviously due to the fact that it is night time. And, I mean, some of these guys cannot afford to have messy races. Humperdinck, he needs to climb his way up there. Lefted as well, Tom. Basically the top 6, ideally. Because, ideally, those are the ones that could potentially still fight for the title, realistically, in terms of pace. So, if any of those top 6 in the championship have a bad race, then that could be curtains in terms of, really, their championship hopes at the moment. So, we're just waiting for all the drivers to ready up as we are about to start the formation lap. I was given a little bit of a shock last week where the formation lap was not on, even though it was set to be on by the game. So it was a bit of an issue in the game's end, but we have confirmation that the formation lap should be on. So hopefully no problems there as we get into the race. As we're just waiting, and we got a formation lap. Yay! So that's good. That's good news. So we're going to look then as to what tyres everybody is on then in terms of the race. And look at that, ladies and gentlemen. We have got an even split. So everybody inside the top 10, they qualified on the medium tyres. So that's where they'll be starting on. And we've got Jamie, GC, Tom, Alex Daegu, Bobbits, Boys Box and Zala all gone for the hard compounded tyres. I wonder if the alternate strategy is going to work better here. We're going to have to wait and see, of course. And I'm a bit shocked. I thought more people would have set their best lap time on the soft compounded tyres. But they didn't want to be on the soft very long anyway, and they want to be, I think, a little bit more conservative. So that's probably why as well. Now, Hawk really needs to get away here at the moment, because otherwise he could probably cause a little bit of trouble. Jam Pancakes hasn't started in the front row for absolutely ages. I think the last time he started on the front row, this guy, Jam Pancakes, is, I think, in his championship winning season, which was last season. So something that he's not used to in a while, actually at all on this game. Maybe in other leagues, but definitely not in AOR. So interesting to see how he copes with the pressure. Knowing him, I think he could cope a lot more with the pressure. And yes, this is Top Split Xbox One. There's also Top Split PC on live at the moment. If you want to check that out simultaneously, I would recommend you would have both streams on at the same time. And looking at what the PC side tyres are as well, they've gone for the soft tyres. So a completely different strategy to what we're seeing the Xbox guys as well. So very, very interesting. So we're about to get started with the race. Could this mean a threat of rain if everybody's going for either the mediums or for the hard compounded tyres? Only time will tell here at Xbox One. As we'll just wait for the final few drivers to make their way through the circuit. It's going to be the longest race on the calendar. Test for endurance, 31 laps. Who is going to survive here tonight? And who is going to perform the performance of their lives? This could be championship changing right here. So you better not miss this. So here we go then. Just look at the cars all shining beautifully in the Singapore floodlights. So anyway, we're about to get started here at AOR for the 16th round of Season 20. The 5 red lights are coming on. 4 lights, 5 lights. And not a long hold this time, and it is lights out, and away we go. And it's a good start from both Hawk and Jam Pancakes. Hawk especially got a good start, as well as a few people have already dropped a few positions in the background. A little bit of a slide as they head towards turn 2 and turn 3. Alfio already making up a bit of ground, but he's dropped back in positions again. LGS going to try and go side by side around the inside, and there he goes up into 9th position. Actually, he's around the outside, sorry, not the inside, but there we go. LGS up into 9th, and you can also get Otis up for P8 as well. So already he's gained massive ground. Meanwhile, up at the front, no changes there. Hawks managing to extend his lead quite a bit with Alex Daegu and Bobbert having a battle in the background as well. Bobbert's not having the best of starts, and that's not what he's hoping in the championship, as we got Boris going side by side. They're almost pushing Bobbert into the wall there, but still showing some clean races there as well. And it's good to see that we have one person in the chat who is good buddies with Boris Letterbox, and you're probably hoping to see Boris Letterbox do well, but he's in 12th for the moment, gained a few positions at the start. He's not doing too bad, but he wants to keep Roberts behind him. That's the most important thing, and try and catch up to Alex Daegu. So far, no major troubles so far from these drivers. There might have been a few spins, but everybody is so close at the moment, keeping it consistent. That is what they need to do, and don't forget, this race is not over in lap 1. It's over in lap 31. So that is probably why they're taking it a little bit more cautious. And we do have, I thought I saw someone go into the pits, as unfortunately the timing tower has glitched. That's probably why. But it's still Hawk that leads from Jam Pancakes, 7/10 of a second, separating them as well. Jam Pancakes bridging the gap between himself and Lefted. So the top 2 are pretty much running away with it at this stage. But you never know, things can change. Anything can happen in Formula 1. As we can see, the Mercedes catching up of Humperdinck as well. Humperdinck is probably very happy that he's ahead of his one of his championship rivals, Bobbert, because he can close in just a little bit, because at the moment Bobbert is outside the points. No one has made massive ground. Everyone that started on the medium compounded tyres has stayed on the medium compounded tyres. And this may mean the alternate strategy may not work as well as we thought, but wait until the end. This could change massively. This is where we saw quite a lot of people. Maybe some people are also hoping potentially for an early safety car, as we do have blue flags for some weird reason, but hopefully that will go away. And I think it has gone away, so that's good news. The person that's looking quite good at the moment is Squishy Panda, 2 tenths behind Pietro in the Ferrari. you know, the experienced veteran of Pietro in league racing versus Squishy Panda. I mean, Squishy Panda has been in AOR for quite a long time, she has, but she's never been in the top tier for a long time, whereas Pietro has. So Pietro's probably going to try and find some time ahead of her. But Squishy Panda, she must be under a lot of pressure at the moment racing against these guys, but she may be also relishing in it too, as they go past into the start of Sector 2 very, very soon and heading towards the DRS zone of Turn 6 and 7. Turn 6 is quite small, I've got to say, as they all head around there. This is a big DRS train, and I doubt many overtakes are going to be happening this lap, mainly because the only person that's not in DRS is Pork and Jam Pancakes. As we got a yellow flag somewhere, as GC has got his first time penalty. There's not many places where you can cut around Singapore. There's a few places you can, but not a lot. But I think the Apex is something to watch out for closely, because that's where we saw a lot of people invalidate in qualifying. Quite a lot, actually. So, but obviously you can get warnings in the race, whereas in qualifying you couldn't really get that, as that might have been a warning for Jam Pancakes. I'm not entirely sure. We've got Boris Box has had a little bit of a moment, and he almost took Tom. He actually did take Tom with him, I'm not sure. Or did something happen to Tom on Cesaro as well? So Tom, I think, is the first casualty of a damaged front wing. So will Tom be going into the pit lane? I think he's going to have to, because he's lost a bit of his end plate. And he's going to lose a lot of downforce, I have to say. Quite a few more people are cutting corners. Cesaro's also picked up another one. So is Tom going to go into the pits? Yes, he does. So a bit of a shame there. The gap is starting to increase just a little bit. The only battles we can see are between Otis and Jonah, and also GC and Jamie. Let's see how Otis manages this one. This overtake has got to be perfect. He's not using his overtake, and Cesaro is out. Could this be a safety car? Or did he retire in the pit lane? Yes, he did retire in the pit lane, so luckily no safety car there, because otherwise it would have been a bit of an issue. Now, without a safety car, the race will be up for an hour anyway. With a safety car, it will be slightly longer. So for my sake, I hope there's no safety car. So we'll have to wait and see, of course, as the race goes on. As the yellow flag for Sector 1 is going to be there for quite a long time. Because obviously we have Cesaro's AI making his way around Sector 1. And it's probably going to be disappearing very, very soon. I think right about now. Now? No, he's just parked it somewhere. Oh, yeah, it's now. Okay. So it's not going to harm any of these drivers then, luckily. But Cesaro's day has gone from bad to worse. He's had a bit of bad luck, I think, when he's been in the sea, which is a bit of a shame. But hopefully he can recover. I can't remember where he finished last week. I'll need to double check. He finished. He had a DNF there as well. So that is his second DNF in a row. And especially if you want to prove yourself in AOR, in the top tier, you don't want to be getting results like that. So, the dirty air is, I think, more prevalent around this track because of the hot temperatures. And ideally, you want to be in front of the train rather than behind the train, unless you can gain about 2 tenths or something, 2 tenths behind. Which is going to be impossible for some of these drivers at the moment, the way that they're driving. But they want to make sure that those mediums last for as long as they can. Looking at the tyre data for these medium tyres, the mediums can last 16 laps. And then they'll go onto the hards, which hards do last majority of this race. So if a safety car does come, don't be surprised if any of those drivers go onto the hard tyres, because it can make it. But the hards are significantly slower than the mediums. It's around about 1.5 seconds slower than the mediums, which is quite a lot considering other tracks. So that is why you want to stretch out your medium stint for pretty much half the race, and then you can go on to the hards until the end of it. There's no way you can stretch the soft stint for half the race. It's impossible. Anyway, GC has lost position to Bobbits. I am going to look at the position gains right now. If you just give me a second. There we go. As I almost went the wrong way. So, Humperdinck has gained 1. Pietro has gained 1. Squishy Panda has... No, Pietro has dropped 1, sorry. Squishy Panda's gained 1. Jonah's dropped down 1. Otis, LGS, Alfio, Hawk, Jam Pancakes, and Left It all staying exactly where they are from the start of the race. Alex Dagu, biggest gainer, 3 positions up into 11th position. 1 place more, and you're getting to the point. Jamie in 12th as we got our first pitter, and that is Bobbert. And he was on the hards. And that is a change of front wing, so yeah, he's probably pit damage somewhere. I'm not quite sure when it happened. I'll check the instant at the end of the race, but he's also getting held up in the pit lane with that damage. So the chance of points for Bobbert is going slim at the moment. Hawk and Jam Pancakes are having a tasty battle for the lead. And Lefted is also joining in the fun as well, with Tom getting the fastest lap of the race so far with a 1:38.5. Now, just some interesting facts about this circuit as well. No driver has recorded more than 3 DNFs at the Marina Bay circuit. And Red Bull has had more podium finishes here than in any other team. So can Lefted make it another one here tonight in Xbox One F1? We shall see. And the safety car has made at least 1 appearance in every Singapore Grand Prix held today. So if we don't get one here, I'll be very shocked. As we head towards lap 7. Well, not stretching the gap as I would have thought he did. But I'm guessing he wants to get involved in some battling. Because people are a racer of heart. But the more you hold up the cars behind, the more that it's going to hinder your progress. And your tyres are going to be absolutely dead. Or maybe you want to push other people's tyres in the ERS and help you. We shall see. Well, they're all keeping to the relevant deltas as GC has picked another one. So what is GC's penalties up? He's up to 9 seconds. So yeah, his race has unfortunately definitely gone from bad to worse. He's been hoping for better for a while now. And looking at the driver standings, his best result was a P7 in China and a P7 in Belgium. He's not had any good results apart from that, apart from maybe a P10 in... Actually, no, it was a P7 in Vietnam, not China. It was a P10 in China. But he's had DNFs in all the races he took part in, except the ones he scored points. P7 and a P10. And he got no points in Italy last week. He got a P14. So, something he needs to step it up a bit. But knowing him, hopefully his mentality could improve just ever so slightly. You can already see Roberts making some ground on the back of the field, so maybe the comeback is on for the McLaren driver. The team down in Woking not impressed with Roberts' performance today, but probably the team are thinking that it's just a one-off day and he can pick up the pace next week when we head to Russia, of course. More about Russia next week. And a lot of people have been wasting their fuel quite a bit actually, so not as much fuel management from these drivers, I'm guessing due to the fact that they have been in battles. Or it might just be that it is telling me that it's a yellow warning light, but it is actually not for the drivers. So it may just be the game, unfortunately, tricking me. But again, it happens. Again, not much overtakes at this stage, but just wait until around about lap 15. Lap 15 is where we can see our first pit stops. And for those of you who just joined us, welcome along to Xbox One F1. And GC unfortunately has retired, so he has retired on circuit by the looks of things. Where has that worked? So let's go on board with Bobbert. It must have been turn 3. He might have parked it on the apex. This car's going very slowly. So you see yellow flags. Probably going to move out the way now. And yeah, GC's car's, he's parked it there. Yeah, he has retired the car on his own. And I don't think you were meant to do that in this league. So there may be some penalties coming from the stewards. As we got a battle between Pietro and Humperdinck. And Humperdinck almost trying to get the move on... Actually, no, it's Humperdinck and Squishy Panda, sorry. I'm looking at the wrong gaps. But yeah, Squishy Panda and Humperdinck. Humperdinck's got into the pits. So whereas Humperdinck picked himself some damage, maybe. As I've had some bad choices of words. As Humperdinck knows that the hards can get to the end. And yes, he did get damage. So he can make it to the end. As Boris is also retired. Alex Dago is also retired. We got a safety car. We got a safety car. And did I say if a safety car would come out, people would go on the hards? I don't think it's an option at this point. They have to. Because otherwise there's no way that those memes can hold on, because they will have to pit again. They will lose so much time. So without the safety car, the pit loss is around about 25, 26 seconds. With a safety car, I think it's around 18 to 20 seconds. So it's a lot better compared to when you're not in the safety car. So pitting, your tyres will get to the end. 28 laps it lasts, the hard tyres. So it's a no-brainer, and you can push those tyres to the limit. You can get involved in loads of great battles as well. It's definitely a no-brainer. What would you do if you were any of the drivers at the moment? Would you do the same? Would you go on the hards, or would you stay out on the mediums and just hope for the best? Because obviously you're going to go onto the hards anyway. You're going to go onto the hards in any way, shape or form. So you don't really want to hold... You want to hold it too much. You don't want to leave it too late. So I wonder what people are going to do. Someone left did look like he was going to stay out there for a minute. So the top three are coming in. Pietro's coming in as well. Squishy Panda. Yep, she's going in. Jonah. Otis. Looks like everybody is going to be taking advantage of that. And it's going to be, I think, their one and only pit stop. Because Jonah, he's got a 5-second penalty with a severe collision with Squishy Panda. And now, I think, within safety car. And I mean, Jamie's taking full advantage of the safety car. And he's going to lead the safety car. But he started on the hard tyres. Now, the hard people on the hard tyres, they're probably screwed at the moment. The likes of Roberts and Tom. Humperdinck's not, though. He's going to gain quite a bit. Because he appeared just before safety car. So maybe the damage that he got the lap before has probably worked wonders. So Humperdinck is probably very relieved at the moment. He's back with the chasing pack. And obviously everybody can catch up now. So I've got to say, it's going to be very, very intense. And a lot of time for these drivers to think. So, and I did say as well, the safety car has made at least one appearance in every Singapore Grand Prix held to date. And that fact pretty much backs it up. So you're welcome. You're like, I got most of my predictions right, you know. I'm very, very happy around here. And I may as well tell you some more facts around here as well, whilst these guys are making their way. So the only driver... So let me have a look at the drivers yet to make a stop. So Jamie, Jamie's the only driver yet to make their mandatory stop. So Jamie he'll probably be in a good advantage now, but he'll be at a disadvantage when he comes to pit because he's going to be lower down the grid. So, interesting facts here. With frequent safety car periods, it's not unusual for the Singapore Grand Prix to run to the 2-hour limit. 4 races have been won in a time of over 2 hours. Obviously, we're not going to get that here today because it's not 100% race. It's a 50% race, for those of you that don't know. As I just had a little bit of a sneeze there, I do apologise. And some more facts as well about the floodlights. 1,600 custom-made floodlights approximately are spread across the circuit. The lights are 4 times brighter than at a regular sports stadium and are specifically designed to minimise glare and surface reflection and to meet F1's TV broadcasting standards. And the 2017 Singapore Grand Prix was the first and so far only night race to be held in wet conditions. Will this change tonight? Well, we did see, I think, wet Singapore last season, because I think it was the opening round of 2020 as well, I think. Or, no, it wasn't. It was the last round before Christmas in 2019. And it provided some sort of chaos, but not quite. But we will see, of course, as we head to, I think we were just waiting for one driver to catch up, which is Bobbert. So I believe Bobbert had to pit again. Let me just check his tyres, actually. No, he did not have to pit again. But I'm sure his tyres can make it to the end of the race. So when did he pit? He pitted 10, 9, 8, 7, 4. Yeah, he could just about make it, I think. And with him being on the safety car, it's not going to be that long. It's not going to be that long before Bobbers could get punched territory, but it's probably not going to happen. But he's already caught up to the safety car anyway, so he's going to be at a reduced pace. So we're already down to 14 drivers, but we are still going to get some good racing. Safety car is in this lap. So it's come in quite early. So it's now going to be Jamie, who is going to be controlling the field as we make way past Sector 3. Well, going to the start of Sector 3 now. Jamie's not used to this, but he's going to relish it. He's going to try and stay in the lead for as long as he possibly can. He knows he will need to pit. He's got to start. Oh, he's got to finish the race on at least one different tyre compound. He can't stay on the hards for the whole race, even though it would make it technically because of the safety car. You have to pit. That is in the rules. The only time you don't have to pit is if it's full wet the whole race. But yeah, again, around Singapore, if you do that, it's a lot tricky. So, here we go then. We're just going to wait for the time where Jamie starts accelerating. He's leaving it a little bit too late. But here he goes. And Jamie's been given the pit lane window thing, so he's probably due to pit very, very soon. I mean, wow, it's a good start from Jamie and a good start from Hawk as well. But Hawk takes the opportunity. He doesn't want to get held up in traffic anymore, and he takes the lead. But Jam Pancakes is going to find it a little bit more trickier because obviously he's got a few more corners to negotiate. No DRS until around about lap 14. So he probably would have got past in DRS, but not quite. So that's going to allow Hawk to pull away. Lefty is probably going to be stuck. Everybody else, apart from Hawk, is going to be stuck in that same train because of Jamie not pitting. But probably Jamie will probably pit next lap anyway. No, not next lap, in about a few laps' time. As we're going through the apex here at the moment. All keeping it clean at the moment. It was a very clean restart at the most part. No trouble. OT's moved up to 7th. I think he started the race in 8th. As we almost had OT's almost going for a move on Jonah. But meanwhile, we've got Alex Daegu and Humperdinck going for this opportunity into a place where you can't really overtake. And there was a little bit of a bump there between Humperdinck and Daegu that may have hindered their chances ever so slightly. That will allow Bobbers to also come back into the mix. And Bobbers is thinking, you know what? I could still have a chance of getting some points here. Bobbers has got no penalties. Alfio does. Jonah's also got some penalties. And with the drivers ever so close now, anything could happen. As there's a little bit of front wing there as Alex Daegu. Oh, I do not know. It was hard to see from that angle, but it looks like both of them has probably picked up damage. So Bobbers is going to try and go for that move and say thank you very much. That's me up into 10th position. So he's taking some glory points. And all of this holding up in traffic for the other guys is allowing Hall to stretch that gap absolutely perfectly. 2.4 seconds as Alex Dagu's out the race. I thought he was out the race to begin with, but it may have just been the game lying to me. And we got another safety car. We've got another safety car. So 2 safety cars in the space of few laps. So no DRS for quite some time. And especially because it's so hard to overtake, the drivers will be absolutely fuming. Hawk would be as well, because he got the gap to around about 2.4 seconds. And that was all he needed, really. So he's going to do whatever he can to try and get that gap back, but he's not going to get held up. The drivers behind are not going to get held up, because Jamie, if I was Jamie, I would go into the pits. I would go into the pits. Or he could stay out for a few more laps. I don't know. Because it depends on how long the safety car. If the safety car stays out for 3 laps, then Jamie could go into the pits. If not, Jamie would have to stay out. It's a little bit impossible to tell at this point. But we will find out really, really soon. So, Jamie, I think, is going to be a little bit worried and a little bit confused as to what he's going to do. So let's see what he does. Does he go in? Yes, he does go in. Well, to be honest, I think Jamie had no other chance, really. He had no other option. So he's going to go onto the mediums. It's going to be a bit of a push to get it to the end. But knowing him, he could do it. And he's going to hope the safety car is going to be there for a long time to come. A lot of people outside the top 10 have also got the plunge of pitting as well. Alfio, Humberding has gone for change of front wing. He's got nothing to lose, so he goes in. Squishy Panda gets rid of her hards, and he's going to go onto the mediums by the looks of things as well. So there, the mediums goes on her car. And Alfio, I don't think Alfio was meant to do this. Alfio is going onto the soft tyres. I think it was a mistake in his part, but I have a feeling he might have selected the mediums, but then it put onto the softs anyway, but I don't know. It'll be interesting to see his thoughts later on in the race as well, because he is going to be absolutely gutted with himself that he's in this position. That he's like, oh no, I shouldn't have done that. So I wonder if he'll pit again. He'll probably have to. Or maybe because he wants to use at least one different tyre compound. Maybe he'll just do one lap on the soft tyres, then come in, go on to another set of the hards, and then that's it. Let me just check though what tyres he's gone on for. So, let me have a look. Alfio, medium, hard, soft. I don't get why he's gone on soft. The only reason why I would think he would go on soft is to different tyre compound, but he's used, at the moment, he's used every single tyre compound from the way this is going. So, Alfio is in huge trouble at the moment. He must be feeling ever so worried at the moment as to what he's going to do. He's probably in the same predicament as to what James was earlier, except he was on the hards. So, I think Alfio is going to have to pick, because otherwise he's going to lose so much time. The hards, well, the softs only last 9 laps. It's not going to last the race distance. And yet, the way that he's taken his line, he's definitely going to go in. And I think someone else is going in as well. Tom. Did Tom pick up damage in the safety car? We shall see. And it is another set of memes, so yeah, it is damage, I think. No, it's not damage. Well, it might have been his tyres being a little bit of a naughty engine, I've got to say. Alfio comes in, onto the hards. He's back on the hards now. I think he was wanting to go on to the mediums or another set of hards. I don't know. But, yeah, he's made a huge mistake, and it's already losing a bit of time. And for the ones at the front, it's going to allow the safety car to go around for just a little bit longer. And that's very, very frustrating if I were the likes of Hawk and Jam Pancakes, because your tyres must be absolutely cold. I can't imagine what it would have been like at the moment. So we'll have to wait and see how this race goes on then. Will this safety car prompt some drivers to go a little bit more aggressive with their strategy, because they know that the hard tyres, they have a little bit more life with them on the safety car. And some of them they won't be running in rich mix. They've been saving fuel. They'll probably be on lean and mixture. So that means they can run rich for some other lap. And safety car is actually in this lap. So the ones that not actually everyone has caught up. I was going to say nobody's caught up, but everybody has caught up. So, Hawk then is now going to be controlling the field. It was Jamie earlier on. Jamie now, out of all of this, he's the leading medium runner in 9th position. And to be honest, for him, it's going to be either him getting 9th or curtains. I'm not going to lie, it's going to be, I think, on the cusp of punter territory. But I think he's going to make them. I think he's going to make it work. Because we're heading into lap 16 and they weren't going at full pace. So he should be absolutely fine. So, here comes Hawk then. He's going a lot earlier than Jamie. So Hawk really wants to get this race underway. And everyone else has been caught napping. The gap has now been stretched to around about 7/10 of a second. Bobbert has just got past Otis. Bobbert is up into 7th position. Great move from him. And he's now going to chase down his teammate for P6 for LGS. 5 laps. Older tyres compared to LGS. But Bobbert is going to do all he can. Bobbert will probably be on much warmer tyres than LGS. And the way that these guys are doing these battles are probably going to indicate which ones have been warming up their tyres a little bit more effectively at the moment. So I think very intriguing, to say the least, at the moment. As we got Otis then, who has made his way past. Oh, and Jamie has had a bit of an issue. Jamie's had a bit of an issue. He was down in 10th, not 8th. And they're going 3 wide. Oh my god, this is not going to work out well. Someone has got to conceive. And Umperdinck and Otis, the 2 teammates, are going in tandem. Don't forget, these 2 have got to work together in the constructors now. I think that's the only championship that Oates can really fight for at this stage, as we're now halfway into this race already. Could we see a threat of rain on the horizon? None of us know if there's going to be a threat of rain. The only people that obviously do know are the drivers. And with the way this is going, I think this is the conditions that the drivers are going to be facing for pretty much the rest of this race. And nobody is going to be making any more pit stops unless there is a safety car. And Jonah has picked up more penalties. Only 3 drivers here today have picked up time penalties. So that means the ones who are close to getting penalties, they don't want to get many more penalties. So they're going to try and stretch the gap as much as they possibly can. Anyway, so if they do get a penalty, it won't make a difference to them. Squishy Panda and LGS. Squishy Panda. I think I would have to say Squishy Panda and LGS. Pretty much even on pace, I would think. A few races Squishy Panda finished ahead of LGS. A few races LGS finished ahead of Squishy Panda. It's been a bit of a, I would say, a bit of an even split. The last race LGS finished 13th. Squishy Panda finished 6th. So they're quite even. And look at all those 4. They're all tucked together here, heading towards, I'm just trying to remember what corner it is, turn 14 and 15. Actually, no, it's not that yet, because we're not even at sector 3 yet. So now we're heading towards sector 3. As I got my corner names mixed up, sadly. As we're heading towards turn 18 and 19. And towards 20 and 21. And I would be surprised if LGS and Bobbert use each other with slipstream. Maybe switch positions every so often. We'll have to wait and see, of course. Jamie's got to fight back because he knows that P8 could have been his, effectively. But he knows, obviously, he's got a lot of work to do if he wants to make those tyres last until the end. But knowing him, he can. And he should be the one that's got the the best delta, because around about 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds is the delta between the mediums and the hards. So Jamie should get past. And his car's going to be ever so hot. But meanwhile, there's a bit of an aggressive move, I would say, almost from Squishy Panda. But she's going to try and make the move stick anyway. And it looks like Jonah was going to go for the switchback. Oh, Squishy Panda, that was almost into a wall. Jonah says, thank you very much. That's my position. Jonah getting squeezed by the looks of things. Jonah has to try and defend from the outside. This is very now biting stuff between both of them. Jonah's already down into 7th, and Boris goes, thank you very much. If you two keep squabbling, that could be my position gained. Jonah hits the back of Squishy Panda. Hopefully no damage is caused there, which I don't think it should do. Jamie has picked up another, well, I think that's his first 3-second time penalty of this race. And a quick update on the penalties. Pietro has got 3 seconds. Jonah's got 8 seconds. Jamie has got 3 seconds. Humperdinck has got 3 seconds. Otis has got 3. Otis has dropped way down the order as well. And Alfio has got 3 seconds too. So a little margin for error, like I said. And we'll just jump back to the leader. The gap between first and second is 1.7. So maybe, I was wondering if Hawk may be pushing a little bit too much, or it may be that Hawk is consistently faster compared to Jam Pancakes. We will never know until we get to the end of this race. We're heading up towards 5 minutes past 9 now. So I think we're going to be around about the 50-55 minute mark of the race. I think, the way this is going. So lefted, I think, it's not under huge threat yet, but you can see Pietro is gaining quite a bit on the corners there. So that could be where the battle is won or lost potentially as well. And Daegu has said, sorry Luke, didn't see you. So it must have been Daegu having a little bit of a battle with Luke, which did not go according to plan, and that was his race over. And that's how Humperdinck, unfortunately, has got damage as well. So interestingly enough, so when you get past turn 18, which is a lot of people have gone past, it effectively goes underneath a grandstand. And to be honest, I like driving through there, even though it's probably one of the most tightest corners in the F1 calendar. Maybe some corners in Vietnam, but they won't be racing in Vietnam in real life anymore. They won't be racing at all, as Alfio has unfortunately picked himself a 3-second time penalty. That puts the gap to 6 seconds. And a quick update on the tyres. I know a few of you guys want the tyre update. So we got the top 5 on the hards. Roberts on considerably older tyres compared to his rivals. Squishy Panda is on mediums. Jonah on hards as well as LGS. Humperdinck, Jamie and Tom are on mediums. Otis is on hards and Alfio is on hards. And I wonder if people outside the top 10 will be going on softs at the end, just so they can get that cheeky fastest lap and still the fastest lap point from inside the top 10. Because you don't get fastest lap points if you set it outside the top 10. You only get it if you set it inside the top 10. That's the crucial thing here. As and also I think a little bit of a lag spike from Humperdinck, or it might have been, it might have been something my end. It might have been something my end. So unfortunately I do apologise on that one. So hopefully it will sort out later on in the race. So we can see then who's going to have this huge advantage and who is not. And we can see Jamie was having a move with LGS there. LGS has had to cut the circuit there, but that could almost been a much serious crash than that. So I think Jamie and LGS was very, very lucky to not get involved in that. Meanwhile, we got Jonah and Humperdinck having another battle again, still having Squishy Panda involved too. And you can see that DRS train growing ever so slightly. And that is worrying if you're the likes of Squishy Panda. You're like, uh-oh, I really need to get a move on. I really need to start pushing and make sure these guys are not behind me anymore. Well, not behind me, but don't have a closer gap. She wants to increase that gap by quite a lot. And there's one person in the chat that's predicting a Jam Pancakes win. Well, it's still possible, but the way this is going, Hawk's pace has been amazing, but will it stay like this towards the end of the race? We're heading towards lap 22 now, as we've got 10 laps to go of this Singapore Grand Prix. One of the longest on the calendar, like I said. And we've got Squishy Panda then, who is probably the most at threat from losing position in this race. But Squishy Panda's got the most to gain right now. She has got 0 penalties to her name. So that's probably why she's going to let Humperdinck through. Because Bobbitt and Pietro have also got 3 second time penalties as well. Everybody I think's got penalties apart from Jam Pancakes, Lefted, Squishy Panda and Tom. So when did Hawk pick up that penalty? I think it must have been very, very recently actually as well. So I think Hawk is going to try and get that gap to what he needs to try and get that win. But Jam Pancakes could get his first win in a long time. I need to actually check our statistics of when was his last AOR win. It was last season. So let me have a look at the archives. I'm looking at the F1 League archives at the moment. Season 19 was on F1 2019, which was actually quite a good season. I really enjoyed it actually. But I'm looking at the standings for season 19, which started all the way back in March. I did not know that. His last win was in Brazil, and that was when he won the championship. So that was, when was Brazil? I forgot what date it was. 7th of June 2020. So that was ages ago. Way over 6 months ago actually. So this could be a streak a losing streak that he can let go of after today, if he could close up to Hawk. As long as he keeps this gap under 3 seconds, then that's the race win for Jam Pancakes. As long as Jam Pancakes does not get a penalty. Let me just see how many warnings Jam Pancakes is on. So, Jam Pancakes is on 1 warning. So, he's doing absolutely fine at the moment. So, you know, he can get away with just getting 1 or 2 warnings. Actually, just one other warning. He can't get another warning, because otherwise he will get himself a time penalty. So, I wonder then, has Hawk been given a signal by his engineer to start pushing, or maybe he was pushing a little bit too soon? So I think he's starting to lose a bit of grip on those hard tyres, and that's allowing Jam Pancakes and Lefted to come back. And Lefted is gaining some time again, which is what he wants. And they're going towards the final corner now, and this is crucial for Lefted if he wants to get P2, because that's still a huge possibility. Squishy Panda's also picked up a 3 second time penalty, so that adds only 3 drivers with no penalties to their name now. So if anyone goes to the end of this race without a penalty, then That will be very, very brave. As Jam Pancakes picks in Jam Pancakes picks a penalty. We were all saying we would hope that Jam Pancakes would not get a penalty, and he does. Which means your net race leader, if he can stay within reach of Hawk and Jam Pancakes, is Lefted. What's the gap? 2.8. Now it's 3 seconds. Lefty could get P2 at least, because he's about 3.1 seconds back. This is a similar situation to what I've seen in another league on Thursday. He had less penalties compared to his rivals, and he was on shot to be winning this thing. So he must be loving life. He's got to keep penalty free. Or he could get away with getting a penalty and he'll still get P3, which won't be too bad. So in a way, Lefted will not be too bad, but he can't. Hawk, Jam Pancakes and Lefted can't let Hawk pull away like this, because otherwise those two drivers are going to be in a hell of trouble. So Lefted has got to make the move sooner and faster. And I probably got my words wrong there. Pietro is in 4th place. He's also on 3-second penalties. The only person that's going to gain position inside the top 10 apart from Lefted is Jonah. No, not Jonah. Jamie, I would say. Jamie and Tom. I think Tom, because Tom has got no penalties. Meanwhile, Jonah has made the move around the inside into turn 1. Down the inside he goes, and 7th position for him. And he's got to get rid of any deficit he's got at the moment, because he is the driver on track that has got the most penalties. And for him, that is unfortunately very, very dangerous. And Tom wants to make sure he can get in the points as he's going side by side with Jamie. Jamie also wants to get into the points as well. As Tom spun. But luckily he just caught the car just in time. Oh my. That was very, very close. That almost ended in disaster there, but luckily it didn't. Oh my god, I am so relieved, as there's a little bit of a lock-up from DRT Tom, which hasn't hindered his performance in any way. There has been many battles, but to be honest, penalties could change, I think, the outcome of this race. So don't you dare tune out, because we're going to be in for a spicy end, I've got to say. So watch out for these as well, as they go underneath the grandstand once again from turn 18 and 19. If they made it this far, they really want to not give up hope now. They want to try their best to gain as many positions as they possibly can. And a lot of people trying to get some tyre temps in, but they've got to be careful that they don't push too hard. So, who is going to be the one to lose this? Who's going to be the one to gain from this? What's the gap now between the leader? This is crucial. 2.8 seconds. Lefted is pushing. Lefted is pushing. He can see that the victory is in sight as well. This is deja vu from what I've seen on Thursday, but it really is. But this time he's the one that's chasing the guy that's in the lead, not the one who's been hunted down for the lead. So if I was Lefted, I would get a move on, because you don't want to lose another position to get rid. Pietro gets another time penalty, so Pietro's going to lose, I think, a position to Boberts as well. So the order is going to change once again. Bring it on, guys. Bring it on. And will we have a taste of what's to come in Russia? Because Russia, you could overtake more, and you probably could get more penalties as well. So, because Russia is definitely another penalty central track, I can tell you that right now. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens as we approach lap 28 of 31 very, very soon, as I get the intervals back up for you. Hopefully you guys can still hear me loud and clear at the moment. And you can still hear me, which is good news, to tell you the truth. And Pietro has lost a little bit more time to these three. But he's realised that if I was him, maybe get the position on track. Try and score the party with his top three, even though you're not going to win the race anyway. But anything can happen, like we saw last week in Italy. We saw someone who was on 9 seconds worth of penalties still went on to win the race. And I think Pietro is actually watching the race in the chat as well. So he's probably thinking of that potential moment right now in his mind. And he's like, I'm not giving up a chance of winning the race, even though I'm on less penalties, more penalties. Maybe some people at the front could possibly get damaged potentially. That'll just be absolutely mental if that happens, but I can't see that happening unless any of the drivers make a mistake. But with those tyres getting as hot as they are, you could see people prone to, I think, more spins. So, second now between Lefted and Pietro. So yeah, Pietro is losing a bit of time. And I'm just going to see what the ERS is like between Pietro and Lefted. So Pietro is using at the moment 14. Lefted on 8. So Pietro has more ERS to use compared to Lefted. So I think Pietro is pushing Lefted to the limit to make sure Lefted's tyres are not as in comfortable condition as people thought they would be. But never say never. Pietro can still win this. Bobbers can still win. Literally anyone can still win this. Anything can happen as well. And Hawk was on pole. He's basically stayed in the lead since lap 1, apart from the safety car, first safety car when Jamie was in the lead because he didn't pit. That was the only time he wasn't in the lead. Hawk has stayed in the lead pretty much the whole race, and he has never looked back. He has pretty much had a perfect race, not made any mistakes, touch wood, and he's hopefully going to continue that way as well. And he does not want to pick another penalty, because otherwise he's going to lose potential podium as well. So he wants to keep it clean throughout these last few laps. He's got to. He's got to. We've seen quite a few people invalidate in qualifying, and that's costed them a chance of pole position. Jam Pancakes has picked another 3-second time penalty. That will allow Bobbits, actually no, it won't allow Bobbits to get a podium, but that will allow Lefty to really comfortably get second place. Lefty could get a penalty if he wanted to. He can get second. But which position would he want, P2 or P1? I don't have a clue at the moment. This is very, very tense. It's like watching Science of the Gasly. Who would you want to win? Hawk, Jam Pancakes or Lefted? 3 people. 3 great drivers. If Jam Pancakes win, which is probably going to be unlikely now, this could be his first win since Brazil in June 2020 in season 19. And that was when he won the championship as well. So he's going to do all he can to try and stretch the gap to Lefted as well. What's the gap now? 3.2. I don't think Lefted has done enough to take the win, unfortunately. So I think Hawk will still be your race winner. It'll be a little bit too close for comfort, I have to say. But as long as Hawk doesn't pick up another penalty, Hawk has got to keep clean. As we head to the final few stages of this race. And at the moment, Bobbers, I think, will extend the gap to Humperdinck. But I'll just look at I'll look at my notes very quickly. If I look at the standings, as I'm still keeping an eye on the battles as we go as well. The gap between first and second, 17 points. So Roberts will extend the gap by quite some margin, by around about so P5, well P4, I think you'll get P3 actually. So P4, no P4, yeah, so P3 will get 15 points. Humperdinck will get 8 points. So 15, 12, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10. So it'll be a 6-point increase. So it'll be around about a race win almost gap. And that is not what Humperdinck was, because Humperdinck was leading the championship for quite a bit, and he's going to lose the championship lead again. So, we're almost at the final stage of this race, and I'm very surprised that it hasn't rained. Because usually, Singapore races that I've commentated for pretty much most leagues have had rain-affected races. Not this one, which is, I think, in a way, a sort of a relief for these drivers. And these drivers obviously would want to keep it that way. So, we're heading towards that 31. I think the race win's going to go to Hawk. But what about podium? I think the podium is going to... So, I think the Hawk is going to get the win. Unless Lefty can find about a second on Hawk. Jam Pancake's going to get third. Yeah, Jam Pancake's going to get third with Lefty in second, I think. If I've done my maths correctly. But we shall see. But I wonder if Lefty is pushing on his fuel. He's got the gap again. Let's watch the gap again. 3.9. I don't think he's going to be doing enough. I don't think he's going to do enough. Finding 9 tenths in a lap is going to be very difficult unless Jam Pancakes makes a mistake, which is probably going to be impossible. He's also been held up with the battle between Pietro as well. So, but he's probably going to be happy with P2 nonetheless. But he wasn't in a position to fight for the win, but I think his tyres have got the better of him. And as long as he doesn't make any mistakes, he should be fine. So, Hawk then driving through one of the bridges. Has never put a foot wrong. And he doesn't need to worry about staying clear of anyone, because he knows that unless Lefty gains time, Hawk could be on to win this race. And let me just see any battles happening at the back. We do have a battle between Tom and LGS. This is for the final points position, don't forget. Even if it is on penalties. A little bit of a slide there, but it's going to be ever so close. We'll watch that battle in a minute, because we're going to ride on board with the Williams driver. He has led the race from start to finish, and he's going to take the win under the lights in Singapore. Absolutely fantastic. Lefty comes across the line in second due to penalties. Jam Pancakes third. Pietro fourth, but will Pietro stay there? I think he will. So let's see. Brothers comes across the line. Yes, he stays fourth. Pietro was very lucky indeed. Humperdinck can come across the line in sixth, so... But will that change due to penalties? I think it might. Actually, no, it won't. I think Humperdinck was very lucky as well. So the gap's only extended to Bobbitt from Humperdinck by only a little bit. OTs, I think, is going to gain 9th position. Yes, he does. And Tom just about gets the final point. So, not much overtakes this race, but definitely a race in terms of strategy. Probably the most cleanest I've seen these drivers, so big well done to them. So we're just waiting for Squishy Panda. What could it be for her? I think the mistakes got to her. I think she's also going for fastest lap. Is she going to get it? I don't think it is. The fastest lap belongs to Roberts with a 1:37.4. No, Squishy Panda's not going to get it. So, there is an extra point because the person with the fastest lap is inside the top 10, so... A big congratulations there as Bobbitt gets driver of the day as well. Bobbitt likes comeback drives, doesn't he? It shows how fast he is in this league. But we've got Hall with the podium celebration. He'll be absolutely delighted with that. He holds the trophy up high. And that's really going to help him climb up the championship order. I believe it's a 30-point gap to Jonah. It's going to close up quite a bit there as well. So we'll have to wait and see, of course. So, your results then. Hawk wins from Lefty, the only driver to keep it penalty free. So, massive well done to him. Jam Pancakes third. Pietro fourth. Oh, I don't know why the camera's panning down like that. But anyway, Bobbitt's in fifth. Humperdinck sixth. Jonah in seventh. Jamie eighth. OT's ninth. Tom rounds up your top 10. Then we got LGS Alfio and Squishy Panda bringing up the rear. And then your retirements, Alex Dayu, Boris Letterbox, GC and Tizala. That has been the Singapore Grand Prix. It's been a pleasure commentating for you today. And Tom just saying in the chat that the DRS trade has been the worst experience of his life. It must have been hard around Singapore, I've got to say, but these guys managed it well. And next week, we go away from Singapore and Asia. We go back to Europe for the Russian Grand Prix in Sochi, in the Sochi Autodrome. Not one of my favourite circuits, but I do believe it provides a little bit more overtakes compared to, obviously, Singapore. So I think it's going to be a little bit more interesting. And with the threat of penalties, a lot of things could change with these drivers. So make sure you join us same time next week, 8 PM UK time, for Xbox F1 F1 Season 20 on the AOR channel. Don't forget to check all the other tiers that were streamed tonight, PS4 F1 and PC F1 as well. PC F1 I believe is still going on because they had a wet start to the race, so it's gone on for a little bit longer. They're on lap 27, so they're just about to end the race. So I wonder how this is going to go. But anyway, for the meantime, I've been Jess Games 95. We hope you have a good rest of your evening, and we will see you next week. Bye bye.